demonstrations, guys. Today I want to talk about some of these items that I use for RideShare. These items are some things that I really think really are a must-have, especially the first one, which I want to get into, is that Uber sign. That Uber sign or Lyft, whatever one, they got a bunch of different ones out there. I have a link in the description if you like the one that I have. You can go through Amazon. I'm an affiliate, so I'll get a little bit of a commission. Every little bit helps, but it gives you kind of an idea what you get. I see a lot of drivers that do RideShare that are doing Uber or Lyft that don't have that sign, and without having that sign, people don't really know if you're Uber. Like, I still have the sign. I still get people say, "Oh, I didn't know if you're Uber or not." Because they'll see the sign up top. They're like, "Oh, I thought it was a pizza guy or something," because nobody else is doing this in the area. They don't have the sign, but that kind of helps out also. But when you're doing RideShare, you got to have something. You're supposed to have something that states that you're Uber or Lyft. And then what they do when you sign up is they send you in the mail a little sticker. It's like a little white sticker that you can put on your door, but who wants to really do that? And plus, nobody can see it. With that light, all it does is it shows better at nighttime, and people can see you're an Uber or you're a Lyft. So when they see your car, when you pull up, they already kind of know. It also lets the police know, and other people, say if you're at an event, you're at the bars, you're parking somewhere, they see you say Uber or Lyft, they're not going to really mess with you because they say, all right, he's waiting for somebody to come outside. They already know. They don't think you're like, what is this guy doing? Why is he pulling up? Why is he driving slow? Why is he doing this? People get kind of freaked out about it or wonder with this day and age. But when you have that sign, people already know, okay, he's an Uber. So it definitely helps to have that sign. Now, the second one, number 2, is going to be that charging station. That charging station makes a huge difference for people. You'll be surprised how many compliments I get. People, and I noticed this is why I started with the charger when I first started, was when you look at when you look at the map for Uber, it's going to show the person. It's going to have a little blue person. It shows it moving around when you pull up. Because sometimes what I'll do is I'll go to that because the location they put or where the GPS sends you is not the exact location of where they're at. So I always try to go to that person, but I would notice that they would be blue. All of a sudden it would go gray and it would say like 5 seconds ago or this or that. And I would wonder, they get in the car by, hey, do you have a charger? So what that meant was their phone died or they lost reception when it turns gray from blue. So what I did was I said, you know what? Everybody keeps asking for a charger, but obviously, I got an iPhone 16. Some people have Android, whatever. I don't always have both chargers and that, so I bought that charging station, plugged it in. It's already back there. Multiple people can use it at one time. It makes it really easy for the people. But once I got that and people started complimenting on it, people loved it. They're like, man, this is great. I'm like, do you not see these in other Uber drivers' cars? And they'd be like, nah, I've had a couple people say they've seen it before, but I'm really kind of surprised. Like, I think it was like $25 or something like that. You can look at the link in the description. It'll send you straight to what it was. I forget the price, but it's not really that expensive. And I've had like 2,000 rides. I've done over to like 2,100 rides now in about a year. And I've had thousands of people use this thing, and it, extends, it pops back up and all that stuff. And a lot of times they'll leave it hanging because they can't figure out how to get in there. I'll say, hey, look, don't worry about it. I drive off. I just go back there and pull it, snaps back up. But with all these people pulling it, doing this and that, snapping it back, it is never broke. I mean, it is a great product. It has lasted forever for not being that expensive. Because, even sometimes expensive stuff doesn't even last that long. And definitely not cheap stuff. So that was one of the better buys I got. Like, that wasn't too expensive. That really probably boosted my tips because people appreciated it. You'd get, especially when you're doing a lot of airport runs, you're going to get people that are coming from the airport. They've been there for a while. They haven't had a charge. Their phone's about to die. They're trying to get a hold of their people. They're trying to do this, trying to do that. And, that makes it easier for them to have a charge by the time they get home, especially if they got off the plane, their phone's about dead. You got an hour drive to drop them off where they're going. Now their phone could be almost charged by the time they get there and they can handle and do all the stuff they need to do. So definitely get one of those chargers. If you're already doing RideShare, you're thinking about doing it, please get one of them, trust me. And go through that link on the description. Also, like and subscribe. That helps too. Third one is a dash cam. And really, I think the dash cam is probably the most important thing. That's really why I saved it for last, because the dash cam is there for your safety. Now, if you're a female driver, it probably help you feel a little bit better. That's probably good for female. I think it'll help because it's a little extra added safety for you. Because, it's kind of, I'm not saying it's going to stop everything, but it does help. So if you have that, getting that makes a huge difference. Now, the reason why you want to have the dash cam is for your side of the story. You're going to get people, or you might not. I've never really had that issue, but you might get somebody that's trying to scam Uber and say you did this or that, or maybe you made them mad, or you didn't want to stop, whatever the reason is, I don't know. But if they say, hey, you've been drinking, or he was smoking, or you're doing this, you can send that footage to Uber and say, look, there you go. Look, I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. That's why you want to have that dash cam. And also, too, comes in handy if you get an accident. It'll kind of show, hey, look, they hit me or this or that. So that helps, too. But that dash cam is a really important thing because that's going to keep you from getting deactivated. Because I see all these stories on Reddit stuff where people, oh, this person said I was drinking or this or that. Well, if you got that dash cam for the first thing, any response anybody says, well, do you have a dash cam? And they'll be like, no, I don't have one. I know dash cams aren't really that cheap. I'll put a link in the description for that one. That's a similar model. The thing with the dash cam is what this is how I feel. You might feel differently. Is Uber will give you the option to link your dash cam to their system or whatever, to the app. And what it'll do is notify people, hey, I have he has a dash cam because maybe they don't want to be recorded. But how I get around that is I put this on there. Now, these will be in the link in the description, too. I got these off Amazon. So if you're going to get these, please click on that link. It helps. But it says in-car camera recording. Basically, that's by law letting people know when they enter the car that they're going to be filmed and recorded. Now, I can turn it off if I want to. But if you ask me to turn it off, honestly, you're going to make me kind of wonder, why do you want to be turned off? Like, I'm not saving it. I'm not using it. I'm not doing anything with it. It's just there for my protection. So if you come in the car and say, hey, I'll turn it off or something like that, now red flags go up. I'm already thinking, well, you got some up your sleeve that you weren't, you were going to do anyways, but now you see the camera and you can't do it. So now you're trying to, I'll just say, hey, look, we'll just cancel the ride. You can find somebody else, because I'm not going to risk you doing something and it kind of come back to bite me in the end, because, I'm not using the footage for nothing. I also had some signs that I used to put up. They say tip. I put them on the back of the seat. I'll show you a picture of them. I got one at the house. I'll show it. I took them out of my car because I wasn't sure if they were really like increased my tips or not, but I had mainly got them to show people, hey, look, you want the music changed, if you want the temperature, this or that, they could tell me and it would let them know, say, hey, just say something. Because a lot of people, maybe they feel like they can't say something, or I'm going to get mad. Maybe other drivers in the past, when they asked them to listen to a song or that, they would just say no or ignore them or whatever. I don't know. But, I'm one of those drivers, if you want to listen to some music, tell me what it is. I'll look it up. I'll play it. I got Apple Music. I've had girls ask about that and sing along, do whatever the whole time. I've listened to Spanish music. I don't even speak Spanish, but they paid for the ride. If they want to listen to it, they want to listen to it. That's up to you. But that's why I had those signs, was to kind of let people know, hey, you can request this or that, and then let me know, and I'll be happy to help you out. So that's one reason why I had those signs. I just kind of took them out because I got the advertising on top, and I just felt like it was a little too much bombarding people with stuff. And I didn't really know if it was working. So if you want to get it and you like the sign, click that link on the description to help out. That's up to you. I just took them out because I just felt, it was a little too much after a while. I don't know if it was working. So I didn't want to guilt trip people into tipping. I would just hope people would just tip, and that's always want to end these shows or in all these episodes with, please tip your Uber driver. If you're a rider, you're watching this, you don't do Uber, but you're just trying to, see why we do this or do that. That's what I'm trying to do here for you guys. Please tip your driver. It really helps, And if you can tip them cash, do it, because I do hear things about Uber's not giving us our tips. I don't know. I can't prove it, because somebody could say, hey, I sent you a tip, and then you don't get it, and you're like, oh, well, Uber stole my tip. Well, they could just be lying. I mean, honestly, don't tell me, hey, I'm going to tip you in the app, or I'm going to do this. Just don't even say nothing. If you can't tip, you can't tip. I'm not going to get mad. I appreciate every little bit people give me. It helps. It makes a difference, especially with how cheap some of these rides are with Uber. It makes a huge difference. So if you can, please tip your driver for any kind of time. Please tip your driver for when you get done. And if you're a long trip, and I know it's probably expensive, still tip your driver, because you got to tell you, that long trip, for some reason, when they do a lot of long trips, they don't really pay us that much. So now we're driving farther, probably not going to get a ride back. and then we're wasting gas. So if it was $150, I got to put gas in my car. Now it's like $110. 2 hours away, I got to drive back, so I can't really make any money. It's hard. So that's why even with that expensive ride, it's not always the best thing. So if you can tip your riders or tip the driver, please, we really appreciate it. Thank you guys.